Hey everyone, Salick. I work at Fireblocks and I had the Web3 group there. So first, to those of you who don't know, Fireblocks is a custodian technology provider for businesses and institutions. We basically provide a very secure infrastructure for custodians to handle all of their digital assets from treasury management, compliance, AML, that's okay. Transfers, exchanges, and so on. And on top of that, we're building additional ecosystems. So one of the emerging ecosystems in this world is the Web3. And I'm actually from a technical background. And what I want to do today is focus on the security aspects and issues that we have in this field. So as Victor mentioned, there were quite a few hacks basically in the recent 2 years since DeFi came to life. And so he mentioned the big phishing attack on OpenSea, but that's actually a small one. So the bigger ones are hacks that are happening on protocols, on DeFi smart contracts, on bridges. We had two huge hacks that happened in the last half a year that each one of them stole over $600 million. Only in this Q, in 2022, 1.3 billion worth of tokens were stolen from protocols or private wallets. And we can see that we are in good pace to break last year's record. So I think we'll make it. And if we look at this 1.3 billion, we can actually see that now the vast majority of the funds that are being stolen are actually coming from DeFi. So if in recent years hackers targeted private wallets and private exchanges, now they are targeting the DeFi world. And that makes sense because a lot of money is flowing to the DeFi protocols. And hackers want the money, so they're just following the money. And the second reason is this is kind of a new environment, so the best practices are not known yet or used by everyone. So it makes a lot of these protocols susceptible to hacks. So from a very high level perspective of how the Web3 app flow works, you could sum it up in this slide. So you have on the left the web application, whether it's a dApp, a mobile device, a developer calling an API. He basically wants to send a transaction to the blockchain, okay? Now, in the blockchain world, you need to sign the transaction. For this, you have different types of wallets. You have your Wallet Connect, Metamask, or Fireblocks, or any other custodian solution. And once you sign the transaction, it goes to the blockchain. The blockchain is completely public, right? You can see the smart contract, you can see the code there. Something happens, the smart contract receives the transaction, writes the data to the blockchain. Everybody could see what it did, what was the outcome. And because this is now public, it's also a new attack vector. So if I'm a hacker, I can read the codes of the smart contract, and I can try to find the exploits there. So you'll probably be a bit overwhelmed from the next slide, but keep it together. So what I want to try to suggest here is this is obviously not readable for humans. By the way, computers also can't really read this. They need to decode it. But this is actually the way a smart contract call looks like in the raw data that is being passed to the blockchain. And the reason I'm showing this is what I want to argue, and what I think if there's one idea that you should live with today is that the lack of contextualization that we have in this world today is actually a security problem. Okay, so who here has some kind of wallet, Metamask, Wallet Connect, Ledger, something? Okay, quite a few. So I'm assuming some of you have interacted with a dApp, with a decentralized exchange, swapped tokens, did anything, and you're probably aware of this screen. So this is a screenshot of Metamask, but it appears in other wallets in different forms. And it basically, you go to a dApp, right? You do a request, and then something pops up in your wallet, and it says, hey, do you confirm? And you're, okay, what am I confirming? Usually, this is what you are confirming. So if I'm looking at this, you see this, there are three tabs, the details, the data, and the X. So if I press the data, it will actually say, hey, I can decode this. And if you press on the hex, you will see this. Again, not something you can do something actionable about it. And this is the key for, I think, 100% of the phishing attacks that we're getting, because people are basically signing something that they have no clue what they're signing. So it's like I give you a contract, it's in a language that you don't understand, just sign here, please. Thank you, I got all of your NFTs. So this is a major issue that we have today. And what I want to do now is think about what kind of model, a security model, and actually a technical model we can offer so we can provide security in all the layers of the interaction with the blockchain, whether if you're a wallet or you're a smart contract or a protocol. So the first aspect and the most important one is the private keys, right? Wallets are basically containers for private keys. They're a synonym. It's a nice word, the wallet, but it's actually a private key. If somebody steals your private key, if you lose your private key, you lost all access to your funds. If somebody took your private key, he has access to all your funds. So private key is really the key aspect here. So the most basic form of security for private keys is what we use and became an industry standard. It's called MPC, multi-party computation. And the idea behind it is this. If I can take the private key and break it down to different parts, so the client has part of the private key, and Fireblocks has the two other shares, I get into a situation where at any point in time, if an attacker hacks into the customer's mobile or steals his private key, he can't do anything without it. Why? Because it's just a part of the key. If somebody, for some unknown reason, managed to break into Fireblocks, again, he can't do anything because he has only part of the private key. And only when you get all the private keys and you sign them together, only then you can actually sign the transaction and send it to the blockchain. So this is the first concept, protect the private keys and eliminate this attack vector. The other layer on top of it is what we call the policy, the workflows. So imagine that you are a trading firm or a bank, and you have a lot of people interacting with the blockchain. You have traders who are working on Ethereum, you have traders working with Bitcoins, you want to change the way some department can work with this asset class, the other department can work with this asset class. I'm allowing this trader to trade up to $10 million a day, but this trader, if he trades over 100 million, I want him to get two types of different approvals, and I want to block these traders from working with this protocol, and so on and so on. So you can basically build a policy that gives your operational rules and guidance that will enforce the way your traders work or anyone working inside your organization. So even if you have a raw employee, an inside attack, or even if somebody is making a mistake, he's putting another zero in the transfer and he now wants to transfer 100 million instead of $10 million, you will catch that in an automatic way. So that's the second crucial part here in the security model. And the next one is what we call the Web3 engine. So on top of that, we can address the thing that I discussed. So if I'm able to contextualize the actual smart contract calls, so I can say something like, hey, you are trying to swap 1,000 Ethereum tokens to gazillion UST, right? I can manage to say that, and if I can say that, first of all, if you are the person signing the transaction or need to approve the transaction, you understand what you're approving, so that's the first aspect. But the second, I can also build a DeFi policy on top of that, because I can say, okay, I'm not allowing people to swap more than X amount or Y amount in T period of time, right? I can make it more flexible. I'm not allowing anyone to borrow more than $1 million worth of assets in a day, or I'm not allowing them to lend them in a specific period of time. And what's also nice about it is I can do something even smarter. I can say, okay, I want to lock this asset class in my wallet so nobody can interact with it. Okay, I want to lock all of my NFTs, or better yet, I want to lock the really prime collection of NFTs that I have. So even if somebody does a mistake, nobody will able to transfer them. If I want to now send them or sell them to someone, I will change the policy so it will make me able to do that. But for the rest of the time, these assets are completely locked. So this is the third layer. And the fourth one, which is an extended thought about this, is we can do even cooler things. So we can, if we have a history of a lot of transactions, or if we are keeping track of what's happening on the blockchain and what kind of attacks are happening, I can actually do a lot of heuristics that can detect anomalies, okay? So I can, for example, see with a lot of the phishing attacks that happen on decentralized exchanges that suddenly a lot of the swaps are sending the money to a wallet address which belongs to the attacker, but it's not the original address that I see in all other transactions in history. So I can maybe put up a red flag and ask for a special approval if I see such cases. I can also try to evaluate the risk of smart contracts. So I can send smart contracts for evaluation in audit companies and give them like a risk score. Okay, this is a low risk smart contract, this is a high risk smart contract. I can also manage all the approvals that I gave for other protocols to play with my tokens. So, for example, this is a true case. A protocol has been hacked a month ago. So because we know who approved what to which protocol, we can warn our customers to close all of their approvals to that protocol to protect them from additional stealing of funds. And this gives us the ability to be not only passive to protect you when you're actually doing something, but actually be proactive and manage the risk before it actually happens. And this is the model we're employing today, and we believe it gives the best protection for your digital asset, whether from a wallet standpoint or a protocol standpoint. Thank you. Yeah, if we have 1 minute, so if anyone has a question, don't be shy. Or be shy. Thank you.